From his home state of Florida. Congressman, good evening. All right, General McKenzie, commander of Central Command, effectively saying no problem, we'll be able to hit ISIS-K next time, don't worry. Do you worry?
I do worry. And as you mentioned, having been a Green Beret on the ground with multiple combat tours, having called in personally drone strikes, the key thing there is you have to have multiple forms of intelligence that corroborate and verify what that drone operator is seeing through those cameras, often high above the battlefield. For example, in a crowded city, you have sources on the ground that perhaps know what the target looks like, can drive by and verify, can verify the type of vehicle, can look at their face, and put the pieces together in a much more fulsome way on top of other types of intelligence like signals intelligence, imagery, sensors, and other things. But what we'll have now in Afghanistan are none of those things. They're gone. We don't have an embassy. We don't have our intelligence operatives on the ground to run sources. We don't have troops to man sensor stations. So really all we're going to have are long-range drones. And to say that that is just as capable is just not true. It's going to be far more difficult, and I fear is going to lead to a situation where we don't see the threat building. And Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and the Haqqani network have made it very clear that they still intend to attack the West if given the chance, and or that we also make mistakes. So this over-the-horizon capability is a talking point. Technically, we can do it, but it is much less accurate and much more difficult.
Evidence how difficult it is and how you make mistakes with what the Pentagon just admitted to. Put Afghanistan to the side for one moment. This caught our eye, something you and I have talked about a lot. Secretary of State Blinken evidently deleted a tweet. He originally put out a tweet, which I think you probably would have agreed with and been happy with, saying we stand with the people of Hong Kong. He then deleted it and put up something that was, shall we say, much more palatable to Beijing. Thoughts?
Well, it reminds me of the NBA coach in Houston, the general manager, I'm sorry, that a tweet that I think every American would agree with that said, I stand for freedom in Hong Kong. Remember, these people were reading copies of the Declaration of Independence and waving American flags in defiance of the authoritarian Chinese Communist Party. And the Chinese party threatened the NBA to the point where they threatened to fire the coach if he didn't delete it. Eventually, he deleted it. That is a microcosm of the example of what China is doing to businesses, to Hollywood, to sports agencies, to major multinational corporations, Olympic sponsors. They play hardball, and either you see the world their way, which is crushing the Uyghurs, crushing Hong Kong, and taking over the South China Sea, or they threaten to cut you off. Yeah. And I would really like to get to the bottom of what happened there with the Secretary of State. We have to stop kowtowing to the Chinese Communist Party and treat them like the authoritarian threat that they are.
You make a good point about trying to figure out what happened. We're going to put the graphic back up. This was reporting from the South China Post that did some great reporting on this issue. South China Morning Post, a spokesman for the Chinese Foreign Ministry's Hong Kong office criticized irresponsible comments from certain U.S. politicians. So at least the way you're sounding like you're saying it is that they got pushback from the Chinese and the American Secretary of State backed down.
Yeah, but this is, let's take that even a step further and a step out of it. We have seen this administration do nothing to stand with those fighting for basic human rights and freedoms. Whether that was in Cuba, they did nothing. Whether that's in the Panjshir right now in Afghanistan, those who are still trying to resist the Taliban and all of those abuses, the Uyghurs in Western China that are being persecuted, for Hong Kong. This is a theme, and it's shameful.
Well, and probably not all that surprising. You and I used to talk when the Biden administration didn't stand up for the Green Revolution in Iran back in 2009. Congressman, good to see you. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. All the best.